Good evening, I'm Nate Puterbaugh with your sports update. Ohio State will be searching for a new starting tight end next season. Earlier today, Max Klare announced his departure to enter the NFL draft. He's expected to be one of the top tight end prospects in the draft. In major NFL news, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin announced he was stepping down after 19 seasons with the team. He finishes without ever having a losing record during the regular season and a Super Bowl win. The Steelers maintain his rights throughout the 2027 season. The Rick Bowness era begins tonight for the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're at home tonight taking on the Calgary Flames. Puck drops at 7. Catch the action immediately following the Buckeye Show. And in college football news earlier today, FBS coaches voted to change the red shirt rule. Players will now be allowed to play in 9 regular season games before losing their red shirt as opposed to the previous 4. This update brought to us by Eco Plumbers. Get $500 in free plumbing services when you buy a new water heater. Visit geteco.com and book today. Breaking sports news, what happens on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Ring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
And Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on a Tuesday. I am Brandon B. And we got the Murph Dog hanging out with us tonight. Patrick Murphy of Bucknuts. Nate behind the glass. Patrick, happy Tuesday to you, my friend. What's going on? Good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's I wasn't planning on being here, and then you texted me. It was like, we got a half-hour show. You want to do
shorties
it? So,
on Tuesday and Thursday. Figured you want to come in, hang out for a little bit.
right. I love it.
I would like to see you a little bit more, and I feel like it would be a good opportunity for us to have some friendly conversations about the Bears and the Rams during the break and before the show.
Yes, and we've
Going to
already
try to get in your head all week long.
You can't get in my head.
With reverse psychology.
You can't get in my head more than I am.
The lose-off. Both of us are going to say that each team is going to lose on Sunday.
Yes, 100%.
That's what we're going to do.
I did it last week. It almost happened. I was hoping to see Isaiah today. Be like, look, I told you exactly how the game was going to play out.
He was in here a little bit earlier.
They just made I heard him doing updates. They just made one play at the end. Otherwise, it would have been almost exactly like I feared.
Doesn't matter. You just need to make that one play at the end.
Yeah, well, and here's the problem. The Bears make that play at the end, and
here's the first problem with what you're saying is the problem that they do make those plays. They don't make those plays at any other time
exactly
of the game.
Have they done that before?
Yes, in their history, they've never done that. And also, for the first 55 minutes in the game, they don't make those plays.
This game is the Rams will get out to a lead because that's what the Rams do.
Yeah.
Then they'll take their foot off the gas, and then the Bears will have their fourth quarter. We don't even need to watch it. We know how it's going to play out.
I think we will. We will both watch it.
There's a good chance.
Yes, there is. We got a great show lined up for you tonight. Pat, we'll get into your biggest thoughts on the Buckeyes coming up. In our next segment, we'll get you out to the Jackets game at 6:30. What about the news of the day coming down to the last, hour and a half or so? Max Klare declaring for the NFL draft. Ultimately came over from Purdue last year as the leading receiver for Purdue. Took him a while to kind of get his feet wet. Had a pretty good season, Max Klare did. Ultimately, Pat, sure that he fell short of his expectations in Columbus, and maybe the Buckeyes fell short of their expectations as well. First round of the playoffs crash out for them. They go down to the hands of the Miami Hurricanes. Max Klare ended up being a one-year kind of rental player for the Buckeyes, and now, poof, he is gone. He is going to the National Football League.
Yeah, I think you could read the tea leaves here, given the 2 transfer portal tight ends that Ohio State's gotten in the last few days, and guess that this was going to be what was going to happen. I think, look, Max Klare, you look at the stats, 43 catches, 448 yards, 2 touchdowns. For Ohio State tight ends, that's good. I think that they probably expected a bit more, or at least Buckeye fans expected a bit more given what he did the year before. Though, it was only 51 catches for 685 yards and 4 touchdowns at Purdue, but you expect, hey, he's going to be playing with better players. He's going to be open more. He was.
Tight ends were on the field a lot as well.
They were.
Yeah.
I think, you look at the, the Rutgers game when both Carnell and Jeremiah were out. He has over 100 yards, has a touchdown. Sort of lived up to the billing when they needed him to do that. Was open for a touchdown in the College Football Playoff game against Miami that Julian, it appeared, did not see.
Yes, he was.
So,
he was very wide open.
Yeah. So I think, I haven't looked at where he's mocked in drafts or whatnot, but clearly he did his homework. He's a smart guy. I assume his representation did, and I think he improved the side of his game that he wasn't improving at Purdue, or wasn't as up to snuff with at Purdue on the blocking
getting on
side.
the line, getting nasty, getting physical.
So I think all in all, it makes sense. I think if you look at what Ohio State's gone and gotten in the transfer portal, they haven't gotten that kind of receiver tight end. Like both guys that they landed, Mason Williams, right, from Purdue, or from, Mason Williams from OU, another OU tight end.
Yep.
That's going to become a pipeline, I think. And then Hunter Welsing from Northwestern.
Seventh-year guy, Hunter Welsing.
Both are more blocking guys who can catch. So we'll see how that all plays out. We have a long time before we have to talk about their roles. But yeah, good for Max Klare. He played 4 years. This isn't like a 3-year guy. Yeah. So I think you got probably what you expected out of him, but you did hope probably a little bit that he'd come back.
Yeah, and Austin and I kind of touched on this a little bit last night when we were talking about the possibilities of some draft stock guys and coming back to Ohio State. And really, I mean, if you watch the NFL product and NFL game, I don't know if tight ends have ever been more valuable now for NFL franchises. And I even made that same example, and I'll make it again. Like the Rams, if you watch them at all, run 13 personnel like 80% of their snaps. So even if you go in and you're a depth piece on any one of these teams that are starting to transition, we know that the NFL kind of goes in phases of the evolutions of their offenses. Like you need to have 3-4 really solid tight ends on your roster for the way that some of these offenses want to operate at their highest potential. And so with Max Klare getting whatever draft grades he is getting back from the NFL and talking to his agent, whether that's, third, fourth round, high second round pick, I don't know. All it takes is one team to be able to want you. And if they want you bad enough, they'll go up and get you. If you're a tight end, it's a good time to be going off to the NFL because we see those guys utilized a ton with the way that offenses are played now.
Yeah, I mean, look at, the Bears, Colston Loveland, and what he was able to do as he sort of came on the second half of the season. The Rams, to use your example, they wanted to take either Loveland or
Tyler
Warren in the first round. Both guys got taken, so they trade out of the first round. They end up taking Terrence Ferguson, the tight end out of Oregon. And, I think you've seen the Rams are a good example just because they have used so much 13 personnel, but almost every NFL team that has a successful passing attack has at least one tight end that can make an impact.
Yeah.
You don't just see blocking guys anymore. And I think
those guys are still out there, but they also get in the mix with some pass catching ability.
Yes. And I think you saw for the 49ers, for instance, when you lose
George Kittle.
Why am I blanking on names today?
I got you.
It's because
you lob it up, I'll flush it
there
down.
You go. When you see him go out with the unfortunate torn Achilles, like that changed their offense a little bit. They used Kyle Juszczyk in there. Our guy Luke Farrell got to play a little bit more, and he's been sort of their blocking guy along with Kittle. But yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for Max Klare and really any of these tight ends.
There's a couple of more draft decisions still to be made. One, Carson Hinsman and Austin Sareveld. We're keeping our eyes on that. Again, the deadline is tomorrow. I don't know exactly the time. I don't know if it's like a 4 p.m. deadline or what the exact time of that is for these guys to decide if they're coming or if they're going into the NFL draft or if they're staying. But also one that is still out there that is a big swing piece for this Ohio State team is still Kenyatta Jackson. So that is until tomorrow. You will find out one way or the other whether Kenyatta Jackson is coming back to Ohio State or if he is going off to the NFL. That's the one, I feel like, pretty big piece remaining for these Buckeyes.
Yeah, I think so. If you can get him back, and I think they have put forth a lot of effort, we'll call it effort, into getting Kenyatta back. And I think it would make a lot of sense. He could be kind of the guy, at least of the returning guys. And
depending on what they do with Rousseau.
Yeah.
Because he's going to mix and match.
Yeah,
and
I think he can move around and do some stuff. But, I think Kenyatta had a good year. I don't think it was a great year. And
he had games where he looked like he was the best player on the field. Like he had spurts and he had games where you looked and you watched him play. You're like, boy, that guy is taking over games. Same with Caden Curry. Like I feel like you never kind of got both of those guys with the one game together where they were at like the height of their powers. It was always kind of alternating. But yeah, there were some games coming off of it. You're like, boy, 97 is just taking over this football game.
Yeah, maybe the best example of kind of the balance was the Indiana game. Kenyatta just got held a lot. Like Caden comes out and
everyone got held a lot.
Yeah, Caden had the hit early on Mendoza that knocked him out of the game, and then he had a couple others. But, I think Kenyatta, there's room to grow and build on it. Remember that he just started one season, right? Like, this isn't a guy who's been, 3 or 4 years making this decision. So while he's been in the program and everyone's familiar with him, I think it would, in my mind, benefit him to come back, but he's got to make that decision.
And then I would again, I'm under the assumption that it seems like Carson Hinsman, Austin Sareveld are likely going to return.
It did sound like that when we talked to them in the locker room after the loss to Miami. We did not talk to Carson Hinsman, but it sounded, we talked to Austin Sareveld, we talked to Luke Montgomery, and there was one of the other linemen, I forget, that talked, and they all sounded like they thought, while not saying they're all coming back, that there's a good chance that they could all come back this next year. And again, with offensive linemen in such a developmental position, I think all of them still have room to grow. You're going to make money at Ohio State. It's not like you need to leave anymore. So right. I think it makes a lot of sense for those guys as well. What else is burning in Pat's big brain about the Buckeyes? We'll find that out coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Around here, it's all-wheel drive all year round, and Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone. Now through February 2nd, get 4.75 APR financing on remaining new 25 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid, or lease a new gas-powered RAV4 LE for $299 a month for 36 months with $39.99 due at signing, with approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details, or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Buckeye Nation, join us on April 12th at the 2026 Ohio State 4-Miler, presented by Union Home Mortgage, the Ohio Beef Council, and Raising Cane's. This is your chance to run down a tunnel and finish on the 50-yard line at Ohio Stadium. You can also get access to the home locker room and meet some of your favorite Buckeye student athletes. A portion of the proceeds benefit the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. This is something you won't want to miss. Register today at ohiostateformiler.com. Go Bucks!
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
In the old days when people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan.
Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Introducing Optimized IT, the managed services division of Modern Office Methods. With our cutting-edge managed IT services, we bring proven management strategies to the table to support your current IT team. That's not all. Our experienced team provides insight on how to maximize efficiency, helping you achieve your goals faster. Concerned about security? Our backup solutions help guarantee your data is protected around the clock, giving you peace peace of mind. Start at OptimizedIT.net for your free IT assessment. Stay ahead, stay secure, and stay optimized.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Mostly cloudy skies are expected here tonight as temperatures will be into the lower 40s. We're also tracking a few scattered showers arriving here overnight into our Wednesday morning. But as colder air moves in, we're going to see rain showers turning to snow showers here for your Wednesday afternoon with temperatures into the 30s. And then looking ahead to much colder air here for Thursday with highs in the 20s. And already tracking our next chance of snow arriving here for Friday with highs in the 30s before we see some much colder conditions here heading into the weekend. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
It's time for your daily dose of vitamin B. B stands for Buckeyes, just in case that wasn't clear. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
Jump Nationwide Arena coming up here, bottom of the hour. Jackets playing host to Calgary this evening over at Nationwide. Rick Bowness, first game in charge for him. Welcome to the Boneyard. All kinds of good stuff. We got Jackets time coming up at 6:30. Pat, quick. Who's the longest tenured coach now in the NFL with the Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh news over the weekend?
Andy Reid.
That is correct. Andy Reid is now the longest tenured head coach with the Kansas City Chiefs, hired in 2013. Do you know, because I knew you were going to get that one, do you know who is tied for second longest tenured head coaches? There are three of them who are the tied, all got hired in the same offseason.
Is Sean McVay one of them?
Sean McVay is one of them. Good job.
I don't know the others.
Would you care to take a stab? Nate, any ideas?
Is Zach Taylor one of them?
Zach Taylor is not.
No,
Zach Taylor
he came from Sean McVay.
He is sadly the longest tenured coach in the AFC North and the least deserving.
Yes, there is arguments to be made. Zach Taylor was hired in 2019. He is actually tied for fifth longest tenured head coach in the entirety of the NFL. Sean McDermott.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Tied for second, and also Kyle Shanahan, hired all in that same class.
Okay, yeah, I guess because McVay and McShanahan
McShanahan.
Yeah, they came up together, so that makes sense. Crazy though. You know how old Sean McVay is?
Is he 40 yet?
He is not.
Is he like 38?
He is 39. He turns 40 later. I was with some buddies last night watching the Steelers game, and that came up, and so I looked it up. I think it's like January 28th he turns 40. And I'm
unbelievable.
Like, he's been coaching for how long?
Yeah, since 2017.
So
he's going into his 8th season
just
next year. If he decides, if he doesn't get fired after
32-year-old head coach, and it's worked. Except when I get really angry on Sundays.
Yeah, you're going to be fine. You guys will be just fine. Also, fun fact about Sean McVay, and this is a crazy stat.
Red Hawk.
Yes, true. Cradle of coaches. Sean McVay, in his tenure with the Los Angeles Rams, and all of the wild success that they have had in the playoffs, have never repeated a single playoff matchup.
Yes.
This is Sean McVay's 15th playoff game going into Chicago on Sunday. He is... They have played 15 different teams in all of those games.
This will be the 15th.
I don't understand how that's possible.
Now, if they win, big if, this will end because he will play either the Seahawks or the 49ers.
Yeah,
both of which they've played before. But yeah, I saw that the other day. Also, did you know that Sean McVay won State Player of the Year when he was in high school over Calvin Johnson?
No, I did not.
I haven't actually checked that, but the buddy who told me that usually doesn't just make things up, so I assume he's correct.
Good for him. Sean McVay, seven playoff berths, 1 Super Bowl champion. Sorry, Nate, had to mention that. It is a list of his accolades. 2 NFC championships, 4 NFC West championships, 1-time Coach of the Year, all under 40 years old.
Yeah,
good for you. Good for you.
And what have we accomplished?
1 Super Bowl. What do you mean? What have we
as in you, me, and Nate.
Oh, nothing.
We're just
we haven't accomplished anything. We've accomplished 0
in comparison.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Well, Nate's accomplished a lot, but me and you have not accomplished absolutely anything. What's burning in your mind about the Buckeyes right now, Pat?
I think the biggest thing over the last few days is just a reminder to try not to overreact when things aren't going perfectly for this program. I know it's hard. Like, as a fan, you want answers, you want news, you want positive things, especially after you lose earlier than you expect. But this, Mark Pantoni, Ryan Day, like this whole staff, they've got a plan. And they have to adjust sometimes, and we've seen them have to do that. But you look at what they've done in the transfer portal the last 3 or 4 days, going back to late last week, and getting guys in at key positions, guys that like weren't even really being talked about. That you get 2 safeties, and it's kind of like, what are they going to do there? Oh, there's a plan there. One's going to be a nickel, and these guys can be interchanged. And, 2 tight ends. Well, you're losing 2 tight ends, and they were both pretty good. And whether they play as much 2 tight end sets or 3 tight end sets as they did this year, you still need those guys on the roster. They're not done yet, obviously. The 2 Alabama guys, the defensive linemen, we mentioned one earlier, like there was a method to the madness, even when it seemed like, all these guys are headed out the door.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And you and I had talked about this on Friday. Austin and I were talking about it a little bit last night, that they're just changing the strategy. Like the days of them signing a 28-player incoming freshman class, like that, until these rules change and NIL gets maybe the collective bargaining that eventually will happen or not happen, ultimately changes all of this. But those days of signing like record number of freshmen to come in for you, like those days are now going to be gone. You have already seen Miami kind of work this way where they're paying 40 guys and the rest they're not really paying anything to. So this roster is going to be really shrunk down. I thought Austin made a really good point. Like, yeah, we all panicked, right? I think we all panicked at the sheer volume of players just entering the transfer portal. And there was another one today. Tanner McKee, I believe, entered the portal. Jace McKee.
Josh Mickens.
What? Tanner McKee is the backup quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Obviously.
Yeah, no, just made it up. Josh Mickens entered the portal today, so I think it's number 29 for Ohio State and players that have entered the portal. But you are seeing in live time, like the strategy is, it's ultimately changing for Ohio State. They're going to bring in guys who they believe can impact immediately on the football field, build a little depth that way, and then develop guys still in that building that they think can have a future here.
Absolutely. And look, is it going to be as big of a shift as we maybe initially thought? We're going to have to wait and see. But I do think you're seeing it. Like with Caleb Downs leaving, for instance, they could have we'll use Caleb Downs and Lorenzo Styles Jr. because I think they're both kind of in this conversation. Like they could have had Fahim Delane or Leroy Roker, whoever kind of was up next.
The Fahim Delane situation surprised me a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But if you look at the snap counts at the end of the year, like Leroy Roker was playing over him. Now, were there already conversations about money and role next year and that kind of thing? And maybe you already knew that Fahim Delane was at least thinking about his other options. But I think what you saw them do is, hey, we're going to take the risk of guys getting upset and wanting to leave. Bryce West, that's a guy who could have stepped in at that nickel role. And obviously there's the money component there. You can go out and pay either these guys that are already on your roster that maybe you're not quite sure if they're ready yet and risk losing or risk losing them and going out and getting proven guys. And I think they've decided, hey, we need to get a little bit older on defense with all the guys leaving. And really across the board, you want to get old and stay old as much as possible, and the transfer portal makes that at least a possibility.
I'm excited to see Terry Moore, right? Because he tore his ACL in an ACC championship game. He missed the entire last year for Duke, and Austin was bringing this up. And again, take leave PFF grades, like was the highest graded safety in America during that All-American season that he had a couple of years ago. I don't think he comes to Ohio State or Ohio State adds him out of the portal if they aren't confident with the medicals.
Yes, and my understanding is that they, as much as you can,
sure,
that's been checked out.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what him and Earl Little. Yeah, I was gonna say Eli because I did it last night and I was incepting myself yet again. Yeah, I'm excited to see what him and Earl Little Jr. can do. Again, under the pretenses that Matt Patricia is going to be returning. That's something that is still going on in the Ohio State camp. As you have more coaching jobs opening in the NFL, there are currently 9 of them that are open. I don't know if that's going to be the last. I know that Green Bay and Matt LaFleur are having conversations. It seems that he's going to go back there. But anything can happen in the NFL. It is a crazy world. So still keeping an eye on the Matt Patricia situation. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, you still need an offensive coordinator, whether that's an internal hire and you're elevating someone already on staff, or you're bringing someone in to just be the head coach of the offense. I'm not sure, but those are outside of the players, Pat. Those are still kind of those are the things we're waiting to drop from the Buckeyes.
Yeah, and I think from an Ohio State perspective, like, you expected to kind of still be playing right now. So taking your time with these, you're still kind of on your timeline that, even if they just made the semifinals, like, they'd still be figuring a lot out. So I think it makes sense. By the way, Kenyon Sadiq, the Oregon tight end, also going pro.
All right.
So another tight end that will be in the mix there, going off our earlier conversation.
Before we get out of here today, our fan poll at 971thefan.com or on X at 971thefan. Do you think the Blue Jackets made the right decision in firing Dean Evison? Yes or no? I mean, they're last place in the East, right? Last place in the East. You're also 19-19-7. Weren't getting enough out of that roster. They felt like they needed to make a change. I'm not a part of that organization. But yeah, I mean, you're last place in the East with 45 points. Now, again, with that being said, you are only like 7 points away from out of the playoff spot. With that break coming up for the Olympics, we'll see what happens. I did see this as well from the Baltimore Ravens, that they have been fielding calls of interest from college coaches about their head coaching openings. I don't know what that means, but I did see a Baltimore Ravens reporter say that today.
Yeah, I saw that floating around. I assume you're talking about one Ryan Day?
No, I'm not talking about him. Austin and I did a whole segment on that last night, like where that's coming from and how that would be.
Where is it coming from?
I don't know. We talked about on message boards is where it was coming from.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ryan Day to Guam.
That's
where he's leaving to.
I always find it funny, whether it's social media or message boards, and obviously message boards are a big part of what I do, but where some of these things come up from and sort of how they take off. But, I fully expect Ryan Day to be Ohio State's coach in 2026.
Patrick, had a fantastic time with you here this evening. I had so much fun. We should do it again on Thursday for another 30-minute banger, all right?
I love it.
Everybody have an awesome evening. Jay-Z and I tomorrow for an hour show. Enjoy your night. Jack Ataki up next on The Fan.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio